What's up? Let's talk about beliefs a little bit. I have a challenge for you. It's just a few questions at the end of what I'm presenting, and those questions are in the description of the video. But let's talk about that. So we're born, and then we learn about ourselves through other people, right? People and circumstances and experiences tell us who we are and what our value and worth is. And then some of that information is inaccurate. It's not true. We find evidence in life as we go along that is inaccurate, but we remain loyal to the information given to us. Right? We may remain loyal to the people who gave us that information. Okay, parents, teachers, religious leaders in the churches, friends, people that you have relationships with, like, intimate relationships, friendships, etc. We remain loyal to them, even though we know that the information given was inaccurate. So our subconscious mind says that this is the program that we know, and we can't change it. Nothing we can do. Okay? So, why? What do you need to believe in order to justify doing it? So it's you'd have to change your core belief, and that's really tough. That's the biggest challenge everybody has, is changing their core belief about themselves and about the world, about a lot of different things, based on either what they were taught or based on a traumatic experience and the belief they formulated from that traumatic experience. So this is all quoted from, bits and pieces are quoted from a book called Until Today by Iyanla Vanzant. And the questions also stated at the end are per her book. And it has a part 2, which is the next day, which I'll give to you and present to you tomorrow if you participate in answering the questions. And this is a line that I find to be very intriguing. And it says, until you are willing, and I underline willing 1,000 times, because the willingness has to be there. Until you are willing to contradict the impressions etched into your consciousness, you will struggle. And let me just say that one more time. Until you are willing, you have to be willing to contradict the impressions etched into your consciousness, you will struggle, you will suffer. And that's just a fact. But the willingness has to be there. Not everybody's willing to go into this. They're not willing to change. They're not willing to do what it takes in order to make that change. So there's what you want and what you want to see show up versus your programming. And they're in a battle all the time because they're not the same, Your programming is telling you about not being good enough, or my opinion doesn't matter. What I say or do isn't valued. I'm only valuable if. So we have all these things that go through our head that's programmed, but what we want is just to be able to be loved as we are, be valued as we are, and be able to be our true selves and just naturally just share that with the world and be vulnerable. But our programming is battling that all the time. So it makes it really hard. So unless you go in there and change the subconscious programming, you're going to be in a battle all the time. And you're going to complain that you're not getting what you want and life doesn't show up for you, but you haven't changed the programming at the root. Hope that makes sense. So the questions are 1 through 4, and I encourage you to answer them. And what unconscious loyalties do you have to inaccurate information? And what I love about that is that word loyalties, because it's loyal ties, and it's binding, and it's restrictive. Ties are restrictive, right? You're tied up, right? What unconscious loyal ties do you have to inaccurate information? And that's a really big statement. And I was reading through her book about that, and she doesn't mention anything about separating that word out. I did that. Loyal ties. I was like, holy crap. That's really powerful, that word. So, what are you tied to loyally that is creating self-sabotage, that's creating misery and suffering? Right? So answer these 4 questions for me. They're here in the title. Send them to me personally. Share them in the comments so other people can see them. Whatever your level of vulnerability and comfort is. And then I'll have a follow-up for day 2. But the questions are, what do I believe about myself? How do I demonstrate these beliefs? What was I told about myself? And how does my behavior support what I've been told? And so, it's pretty powerful. If you've never done this type of exploration before, this can really open up a can of worms. So I encourage you to give it a try. Belief is a number one cause of suffering. Not emotions, not emotional pain. Belief creates the emotion and then thereby causing you the suffering and the pain. And when you try to grasp too tightly to your belief, especially if it's something that you don't actually want to believe, then you will suffer. You will be miserable and you will blame it on everything and everybody else and steer clear of emotion, because emotion's just so scary and so awful. And I want to avoid feeling pain and rejection and abandonment and feeling, sad or feeling these things. When really, if you could change your belief, those emotions would change. They only exist because of the belief. And as we can see, in all of the different events and things around us, people's beliefs cropping up, right? So the biggest separation between folks is belief. Unconscious program belief, taught, learned belief for cultures, and learned beliefs about religion. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there for you. I don't want to make it too long because I know how people are. They don't watch it till the end. So have a good night.